Warning, the video you are about to see is the second installment of the series, so if you have not seen the first, please do so, then return here. Now then, presenting a Solar Star production, the long-awaited, highly anticipated, newly emancipated, Part 2. Enjoy.
Alright, where were we?
We're back.
So some time has passed since the fight, and Rico's all hyped up for the Rookie King tournament, but while doing his road work, he comes across a woman being sexually assaulted. And this time, he has the hands to fight back. He does it in one punch, man. See what I did there? Shout out season 3. Best season so far, that shit is peak. She thanks him, and out of the blue, Rico pushes her away, and she apologizes, tells him not to worry about the guy he knocked out, and to go. Elsewhere, Unk is doing some bill collecting, and turns out the person he's collecting from is also participating in the tournament. He's a former kickboxer who also happens to be Rico's next opponent, and after discovering this, he decides to coach him. Back at Baba's, ballots are in, and Rico learns he's going to be facing Kaide as his second opponent. But before that, he'll have to be Koji Suwabuki, and as he's being introduced, we get a glimpse of his tenacity as he spars with Unk, and according to his gym's chairman, it seems to be working. But one night after their sparring, we discover that the woman Rico stumbled upon in the alley is his girlfriend Aoi. She's a prostitute, and boy does Koji have it rough, with one of her clients being his boss. The two of them in the woes of poverty, no heat, no lights, no power. The only thing he's got going for him is that Unk is specifically coaching him to take down Rico, and fueled by the disdain he has for his day-to-day life, he is determined to change his circumstance through his fists. And Unk sees an improvement. While at the orphanage, one of the kids tells Rico Ne's been acting weird, even though she likes him. This is the first time Rico's heard or even thought about that idea, and the kid continues to say that she's rejected every prospective foster parent that's come her way, with the girl suspecting that it's because she doesn't want to be separated from Rico. The weigh-in goes like you would expect. A heavy tension in the air as the two size each other up, a mutual respect as both sides can somewhat gather the hardship the other has been through, and resolve themselves to be the last one standing in the ring, regardless of how tough the other is, because they both need this win. Even more so for Koji, as we learn that Aoi is sick, but her intuition isn't, as she calls out Unk for training Koji all this time solely for Rico's sake, one way or the other. But regardless, there's no way around it. Once that bell goes off, inside that ring, it's
Dangerous, reluctant, size. Chicken finger powers and twice. Always little and light, but you got me changing my mind. When you kill Mr. Bright, what's things set in your side? A coin flip every time. I'm dealing with Jekyll and Hyde.
a grueling brawl is taking place here. Blows being exchanged left and right, head to the body, and Koichi just tanking it. Rico, on the other hand, doesn't share in his resilience. At least not physically, he can't really take the hits. And with Koichi mirroring Unk's fighting style, there's a lot of them. But Rico's seen Unk fight enough to know that, against his rushdown, retreating is losing. So Rico steps in and hits back. And with a well-timed blow to the temple, the tide is shifted. Even though Koji gets back up, unrelentingly pushing forward, Rico keeps hitting back. Shortly after the bout, Riku moseys on over to the hospital to pay his respects. Aoi's at his bedside, much to Riku's surprise. And then he offers his sympathy, much to Aoi's chagrin. She says as the winner, he's won his rights for a next time. And to that end, not to think of anything he shouldn't be thinking of. Outside the hospital, he runs into Unk, and overcome by emotion, he reverts to the kid Unk once found. Unk then blankly tells him he took too many hits, and to be proud, which to Rico is all the acknowledgement he ever needed. This then gets him to shift gears into his fight against Kaide. First day of school for Rico and Ne's last year comes around. She asks if he's free Sunday, says she has something important to tell him, and invites him to watch a fight. One that Baba coincidentally gave him a ticket to, the Japanese lightweight title match. The current holder of the belt for it we see sparring with Kaide. I'm calling him Jack. Jack doesn't think very highly of Rico, especially because Rico's last fight wasn't the most spectator friendly. He thinks Kaide is wasting his time trying to fight him. But what does he know? Well, I guess we'll find out, because Sunday has come today, but before the fight, we'll run with Ne. The two go out, she then asks to live with him, Rico doubts, then for some reason gets French like innocent. I guess because it was done to him, he's doing it back, and probably how you'd expect is how she did react. Now let's go see why I call Jack. As Riku enters the venue, he gets approached by a man who saw him outside. I'm calling him Camo. He's got a friendly disposition and calls over some reporters to get them to interview Riku and him by extension, introducing himself as rank 5 in the lightweight division. And I like his energy, no cap. Get it? Because he took off his cap, whatever. He put it back on. Let's keep going. And Riku has the charisma of a bag of sand. He didn't even try to make any puns. Like, I might have missed, but at least I swung. And Camo's like, pro tip, even if you're not that confident, just kind of lie. You know, that's how you get to the bag. And as he says that, the living embodiment, Mr. Get to the Bag, Jack comes out. Everyone's yelling, jackknife, jackknife. Jackknife, I love you. Riku peeps the presents, and now it's time to peep the punches. The fight's over in the first round. Rico sees he's outclassed in both boxing within the ring and stage presence out of it. Camo then brings Riku in so he can meet Jack, and after a glance, he's written Riku off. Riku then responds to a nearby reporter, claiming Unk as his favorite fighter and the OPBF belt as his goal. Jack scoffs at his goal and elaborates that the belt is worthless in the eyes of the world, and that him and Kaide could take it easily. This lights a fire within Riku, thinking his next fight is a test to see if he can take the OPBF belt. Afterwards, the cause for Kaide's fixation on Riku and the Rookie King is revealed. See, Kaide's father, Akito, fought against and lost to Unk in a bout for the OPBF belt, so he admires Unk and wants to take down his junior, Riku, to show up his dad before taking his belt, before getting the world belt. A few days later, while Riku's out running, he runs into Unk, who's outside for a funeral, and before he can get a word out, Kaide turns the corner. He asks Unk to compare his uppercut to his father, saying he admires him for defeating him, and Riku's like, damn, him too? Then after seeing Kaide's punch, Unk tells Riku he's cooked. He's inherited world-class genetics and a world-class environment to grow up in. But Riku's like, I inherited your spirit. Why did you even teach me how to fight? And Unk's like, I forgot. But Kaide, learning he taught Riku, is fired up even further after being vindicated in his convictions, reaffirming his resolve. But something I'm noticing here that I like upon this reread is that like Riku isn't just getting riled up in the same way that I feel like a plethora of protagonists would have been. He instead gets more introspective, and there's this beautiful moment where he's comforting an orphan crying for their parents as tears begin to well up in his eyes, thinking if he could be Kaide, he might garner Unk's recognition, further establishing this pseudo-fatherhood role Unk has been relegated to in Riku's eyes. But that's not to say the pre-fight hype isn't with us. It's very much so alive and well. It's in the room with us. Do you feel it? Do you feel it? Baba and Riku are sparring fiercely, and this time, instead of not wanting to lose, Riku wants to win. Unk comes by and tries giving advice to Baba to give to Riku, but Baba's like, he's got it. He's ready. He just has to do the thing. The weigh-in is electric. A little AO, but electric. The fight is now upon us. Riku senses an immense amount of pressure as he steps into the ring. Kaide jumps in the ring. The two stand face to face.
Ready? Go!
The clash commences. But real quick, if you want to see a clash that's not so much physical as it is spiritual, but still intense, just through manga, check out the video before this on Dragon and Chameleon once you're finished up with this one. Links in the description. I think you'll really enjoy it. Please give it a chance. I think it's really worth your time. Oh shit, my mic just hit me. Recording this video is getting...
Dangerous, be like being size. Chicken finger powers and always let's us light, but you got me changing my mind. When you kill Mr. Bright, what's things say inside? A coin flip every time I'm dealing with Jekyll and Hyde.
After a tumultuous first round, Baba hits Riku with a... And he's like, now you've done it a lot, just do it to him. And he does. They both do. But one of Riku's comes out a little differently. And Kaide goes down. For the first time ever. Or almost. And after how heavy that jab was, Kaide starts wondering what Riku's straight is like, but as Riku goes to throw it, Riku then goes down to that counter. As the crowd loses their mind thinking he got him, Riku has a thought. He might be scared like he is. It's now time for round 3, and Baba says everything's going to plan. Just let that straight fly. Like me at the airport, getting charged $100 for a freaking carry-on right before boarding, even though my bag fit in the thing that said it was a personal item. Whatever. I digress. The round begins, and Kaide is fully aware that Riku's hurt by his ribs, but he keeps letting Riku hit him, almost as a way to prove his fighting style, or to show himself that he isn't scared. Riku knows this, and he's trying to hit him, but he just can't down him. His guard slips the teeniest bit, but Kaide notices Riku's glove just millimeters away from his eye, and as Riku remains on his feet, Baba says he's just overcome Kaide. He's going for an invisible punch, using his ribcage as bait. Kaide knew what he was planning, but as for the punch, he never saw it coming. And with the very same punch he used to take down his first opponent, he brought Kaide down, showing him the same view he once had. But he gets up, and they keep fighting. But as they do, Riku still thinks he's afraid of something, and he just can't wrap his head around it. Same time as this fight's going on, Akito gets asked about his son. And he's like, Kaide's not really a great boxer. He's just a scaredy cat that easily gets overcome by fear and can't punch anyone back anymore. And a boxer that enjoys getting punched is akin to a drunkard. And as round 3 comes to a close, Rico comes to realize Kaede isn't scared of him. If anything, they're one and the same. Kaede was also abused by his father. Under the guise of training, he was beat relentlessly, day in, day out. But in reality, after Kaede's mom died giving birth, Akito was angry and resented Kaede for that happening. And in a warped way, to make it up to his dad for his mom dying, he accepted the abuse and even encouraged it. It was a fake it till you make it situation, and after so many beatings, it started to stick. And as for his fixation on Unk and Riku, he figures Unk has a punch that his father doesn't have. And if he can't take the punch from the person who surpassed his dad, then just reaching the top of the world wouldn't allow him to die with a smile. And he would die as a fake. Now on to round 4. As the two go at it, Rico realizes Kaede is also fueled by daddy issues, hoping to find recognition through victory, which brings all the more motivation into Rico's gloves, believing that his long-awaited fists await him at the end of the struggle. The two are going even faster, throwing even more punches. Baba's like, you gotta put something down if you want to be up, get closer, sacrifice yourself. Riku remembers the first time he knocked someone out. Kaede went down, but so did Riku.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Riku won. And with that, for Kaede, losing's become possible. And for Riku, living's become slightly easier. Mine?
Wait.
Okay, I'll keep going. I'll keep 6 weeks have passed since then. In the manga, not my life. Like this, I stopped here yesterday. Akito's been trying to set up a fight for Bulldog, a fighter so revered that no one will fight him even for the sizable sum of 10K. Me? I'm not getting in the ring for anything less than 10K. I'm like Ashton Hall, I need at least 10,000. Manifest. Subscribers, hey! Oh, it's finally time for the lightweight C rank or B rank. He's coming, the Roman Rico's coming. Riku seems to have developed some prestige amongst the common folk, and that's piqued Akito's interest. But Riku was a no-show, because even though he's looking sharp, Baba says you only need to win 4 times to rank up to B. And after that grueling fight, it's not worth the risk of injury. Boxing aside though, Baba found Riku a J-word. It's at a cleaning company and it's like, oh, that's great. But like, that's a respectable J-O-B. Shout out the janitorial and custodial staff everywhere. You guys make the world a more livable place to be in. Like not that long ago, people used to poopy in holes in the ground right outside the house. We've come a long way, so don't talk shit. And side note for the power scalers, even Unk said he wouldn't fight him. So do with that what you will. After Riku and Nei have left the gym, Akito approaches Riku to potentially fight Bulldog, but talks down on Kaede heavily while doing so, which deeply upsets Riku. He brings back the offer to Baba, and Baba's like, you wanna fight? He informs Riku that his opponent is ranked 14th in Japan, and if he beats him, he'll get ranked right there and then. But then again, they're literally offering prize money to get him an opponent to fight. You'd be bait. And Riku's like, I don't really care about being bait, but if they're using my match against Kaede as their yardstick, it kind of makes me feel like I have to win. Baba's like, okay, bet. And Nei notices a change in Riku. He's pissed off, but it's not just anger at Akito, it's pride. They then try showing us how Bulldog volunteers to teach kids English, like to show like he's a good guy or something, but it's like, man, fuck that, he's the op, I don't care. We don't care. I'm like, come on, bro. Okay, so it's now the start of summer break for Riku and Nei asks Riku if he intends on going to the Institute's annual summer festival. And Riku's like, yeah, it's my last year, of course. As soon as they step out the building, the pair get approached by Camo. He invites Riku to a joint training camp that Jack's gonna be at. Riku was about to decline because it conflicted with the summer festival, but Nei cuts him off like those vocal chops and tells him to go. Camp starts and Riku's doing good, holding his own. He's chasing the champ both figuratively and literally. Afterwards, as we overhear from Camo that Jack actually invited Riku to the camp, he also invites him to spar. And Riku smiles. Our boy's growing up. He's showing all type of emotions and coming out of his shell. Riku sees the sparring as a test. And if it's a test, he failed. But he got a thumbnail in. Appreciate that. Jack then asks Riku to transfer gyms and join the one him and Kaede are a part of. Later, Riku's thinking to himself as he trains, by the way, he's hitting a tree, no gloves. He can really hurt his hand like that. Don't try that at home. I don't have a tree at home. Okay, bro. Riku then runs into Jack as he's running, and he asks him why. And Jack candidly responds, stating how disheartening it is to see Riku waste his potential like this, not fully utilizing his resources or leveraging his connections for what seems like a half-hearted goal outside looking in. But to us, we already know. What's understood does not need to be said. But the summer festival's taking place, and Bulldog pays a visit. And with Rico being gone, he approaches Nei instead. She staunchly rejects his advances, but Bulldog doesn't take it anything close to well, bulldozing a handful of kids, pouncing Nei into a chokehold, and with a beady look in his eyes, declaring he'll crush Riku and take her with him, no matter what. But Nei stands on business. Once Riku returns from camp, Riku receives a phone call from the institute, and the kids tell him what happened. He rushes over to find Nei asleep in the library, with violence still lingering on her arm. She awakens to Riku reading from the book their old teacher and caretaker used to read to them, one that's quintessential to the meaning of the series. Violence, it hurts others, and it hurts the user. It's the most idiotic way to use your hand. It can even hurt hearts. The one thing connecting people is without a doubt the hand. People's hands are full of kindness. And Riku thinks to himself, the hand in this book is certainly different from his hand, but what if he used his hands to protect people from violence? The weigh-in comes around and Bulldog's as cheerful as ever. The two gauge each other and he apologizes, attempting to fill up water underneath the bridge. Shortly after, Riku's lost in thought. He just can't quite picture someone with such a jovial disposition and clearness in his eyes implementing violence like that. He pops up behind him. Speak of the Bulldog. Did you perhaps have killed a human being before? And that's not a translation error. This guy canonically speaks English. He then admits to Riku that he also perhaps have killed a human being before. He then continues to say that if someone has strength, they should be allowed to use it. He's a polar opposite from Riku, who spent his entire life shamed and ashamed of that fact. Riku then walks away, his parting words being, if I had strength, I would not have killed, denying the assertion that the two are in any way similar. And Bulldog looks up at Riku, thinking to himself that Riku's suffocating himself, and the people who quietly subdue themselves like that are the scariest. I found the framing of this scene extra symbolic too. Bulldog looking at Riku's back, signifying Riku intentionally distancing himself from that mindset, indicating a maturity that Bulldog even older doesn't have. All while Riku's walking upstairs, literally and figuratively taking the high road. But enough of these words. We don't, like, what is words? We need action, we need fists, we need a fight. We need conflict, we need resolution. It's right before the fight, and this is what Riku says. And with that, he walks off to the ring.
Superstar. Are you ready?
Just be like being size, chicken finger powers of always lit towards the light, but you got me changing my mind. When you kill Mr. Bright, what's the thing you say in your side? A coin flip every time I'm dealing with Jekyll and Hyde.
It missed, but this is the closest thing we have ever seen to Riku being scared. And he's now backed into a corner. The fight goes on. Round one ends. And Baba says to Riku, you were unconscious, but you can wrap it up now. However, until I give you permission, you must not use that straight under any circumstances. If you miss the perfect timing, your opponent won't fall. Think of my signal as your only lifeline. The two resume fighting, exchanging blows fitting of killers. Bulldog has started to lose himself in the heat of the moment and having his life on the line. Do it. He's down. He's up. Do it. Bulldog retreats. Riku doesn't. You can't go this far with just desire. This kid is killing in order to protect. Completely different from me. Riku has changed, but the amount he talks hasn't. What has changed, though, is his rank. Now he has one, I guess. He's ranked. B rank. What's also changed is his perspective. As Nae embraces him in tears, he begins to reflect on how he handled her feelings, and how he wasn't the one protecting, she was. And as Bulldog locks eyes with Riku down the hall, we see the final thing about Riku that's changed. For Riku, loving's become slightly easier. Thank you for watching. Thank you for 2,000 subscribers. Part 3 at 3,000. I made you eggs. Please engage with my channel and my videos any way you can so I can quit my job and go full time at 100K. And most of all, I love you tables. I love you sobs. And
Mine. Dangerous, reloading sights. Chicken finger pot once or twice. Always little and light, but you got me changing my mind. When you kill Mr. Bright, what's things say in your side? A coin flip every time. I'm dealing with Jekyll and Hyde, dealing with pride. That's someone behind, I don't wanna meddle. Hurts me inside when I'm choosing to settle. I know who am I. Understand pot trying to call it the kettle. Walk a whole night.